Alright, it's partially on there. The pin is not in yet. It's just you have to fight that bottom half of the spring. Let me turn it where you can see a little better. That bottom spring around that nipple. And doing it one-handed is pretty much impossible. Doing it just by hand is also impossible. A little screwdriver like this is very, very helpful. Alright, next is, if you remember, the spring that has the collar on it. You want the long end in first. You slide it in there, kind of push your spring around. Slide her all the way down in there. It usually goes in pretty easy. It just kind of, since it's not retained by itself, it does want to come out. Next, now there's two separate pins that go into this trigger. You can see the two holes there. Alright, one is just a straight pin. One is a pin with two cuts in it. The pin with no cuts slides into this hole here, right above the trigger guard. That is actually what your trigger pivots on. This pin here with the cuts in it, you can see it better there, that is what these springs ride inside, is inside those cups. Easiest way to do this is slide this top or bottom, depending on how you're looking at it, inside spring up. And it's a booger to work with, but it is possible to do it with one hand. Slide that up like so. Just hold her there. Then I'm going to set this down for just a second. You take your trigger and you slide it on that pin I put in before. And then you slide that collared pin in the other hole. And you slowly let that spring down. And you have to slide the trigger out just a little bit to get the spring to go behind it. And if all works well, like that, you can kind of see it spring resting behind the trigger. It'll land in that collar. And the other one is just as simple as pushing it up and locking it in there. Now again, that spring's going to want to try to pull out. You got to keep an eye on it, because the other end of this is actually that plate right there. But we're just going to check and make sure everything is functioning, moving correctly, in the right holes. All the parts are in there. Yep, looks good. Next is the plate. Plate, just that smaller hole is what slides on top of this pin right here. And it'll take a little bit of movement and jimmying to get it on there, especially one-handed. Why, oh why did I decide it was a good idea to do this all one-handed? I know, because I thought it'd be fun to make a video. Alright, popped it in there. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can kind of see it right there. See that pin right there. Then the last step is put in your screw. Then I have an actual gun tool kit with about 15 different bits, as well as a slide-on ratchet handle for those really tight ones. Don't usually have to use it, but you can just use screwdrivers. Just make sure you use the right size. You don't want to booger these screws up, because they are specialty screws. These are not ones you can get at Lowe's. A lot of them have specific tolerances and depths. A lot of them have to do with the action of the gun. Alright. Now, next step is slide my collar out here. Cock the action. Yep. Action works. Sliding pretty smooth. Trigger works. Now it's kind of hard to do it without two hands, but it's still working. I wonder if I can do it like this. Yeah, there we go. And there you go. That is how you take apart a Charter Arms AR-7 Explorer survival gun. Oh, by the way, if you were wondering, the clip goes in there. Alright guys, later. Real quick, I just realized that I didn't show you guys how it actually goes together. So I'll show you that real quick. Alright. Clip. Flip it around here. Slides in there and locks. Barrel has two different tabs on it. Let me find them here. One tab there, you can kind of see it different colored, and then another slit, or one tab and one slit I should say, right there. Kind of easier to see it that way. So it'll only go in one way, so you don't have to worry about it getting it wrong. It's real simple. You just put her down in there so I can just rotate until she falls in. And it is spring loaded, so it's going to have spring tension. So you got to hold it, and then you screw this collar on. And you screw that collar down nice and tight. Any loose play when you're shooting this thing. And then, this part's a little harder to do, but we'll attempt to do it. I've never done it one-handed, so. Maybe not. Ah, got her. Just slides on there, and then there is a screw right here. It's kind of hard to see, but you can sort of see me spinning it there. It screws the butt into the back of the gun. Same thing, good and tight, you don't want to play. And that is it, completely assembled. Not much to look at, not very pretty, but it does what it says, helps you survive. Anyway, later.